So wow, life of the top 1% Airbnb owners or short-term rental owners is better than ever it's been. How is business?
Yeah, it's fine. That's really good. So
people get it. As I say, I thought I understood.
Because they don't know any different, I suppose. Like I said, people just.
And the other 99% of Airbnb and short-term rental operators, hey, it's depressing, it's challenging, they're trying to get some bookings. Now, because I can tell you one thing about myself and the company, we've now physically worked with over 200 short-term operators and Airbnb operators all over the world, which means for me, I've invested a lot of time on the phone calls with this client. I've sat down with them, I've understood how they think, I've understood how they got into the business. I've also understood what made them the choice of getting into Airbnb and short-term rentals. So guys, in this video, I want to share you 5 traits for successful short-term rental operators in 2022 moving into 2023. The 99% of short-term rental or Airbnb operators, life is hard. Look, the return, the guest, the long-term guest, the profit, that's yours. It's constantly been taken by that top 1%. And look, it's even hard to listen to this. And I've seen this again and again. People have closed down businesses in the same location area. I've seen people doing really well. Now, what does that say to you about somebody who is in that top 1% running successful business, taking all that booking, taking all that return, making sure they have the strategy to back it up versus that person who's tried their best and eventually had to give up their unit? Look, I've gone through this again and again. I can show you screenshots in my DM, my Facebook messages where people had to shut down their business due to not being able to make it work for them. Now, let that sink in. Everything I mentioned earlier could be yours, but I want you to think about one thing. Think about your dream Airbnb and short-term rental business. What would it look like? How many properties do you want on it? What kind of profit do you want to make from that property? Is that property going to work for you, or have you got to work for the property? Now, look, let that sink in. Let's have a little think about these things before you start your short-term rental business. Again, for me, I've worked with many operators. I know how they think. I've been very fortunate. I can pull up over thousands of Zoom calls I've had over the years with different clients, which has been recorded. And for me, I go back and watch them and I clearly understand what kind of operators they were and where they are today. And it's been a very, very fascinating journey for myself. So now, without further ado, let's talk about the top 5 traits for short-term rental operators and Airbnb operators. Having said that, look, it's not for 3 months or 6 months. You have to do this as a commitment, and there is absolutely no option. So step 1, to become a high short-term rental operator, you need to remove any distraction. Now, what I mean by that is, look, it's all good going and learning about different strategies. Yes, you want to go and make that phone call for below market property that you probably are looking at Rightmove, you're looking at investing. Yes, it's okay to understand more about HMOs, and you want to go and actually make that phone call because you feel like that's a potential option, or people that you follow might. But what you're doing is you're creating a distraction. You're not being able to fulfill those, phone call needs. You're distracting yourself effectively. So this is not an optional. Many of the high performing short-term operators or clients I've worked with, they can pick up a phone today and very confidently they can tell me, Piers, I can go and secure as many units possible in any part of the country, especially in that investment area, but also any part in the country, because of the skill set they have and their sole focus is in that business and scaling that business. But that way you are simply distracted and you are not being a high value short-term rental or Airbnb operator. Now, I've been documenting my journey in YouTube for the last two and a half years, showing around the highs, the lows, working with different clients all over the world, especially around, look, the challenge I've always said look at my channel, and I've always said it's not hard to go and find a property. You just need to be consistent. Take a holiday for a week make loads of phone calls, speak to loads of agents, and you will get through those doors. What I find it difficult is when a lot of operators don't understand how to do market due diligence or don't understand the numbers well and actually go and get a unit. So step number 2, you must reimagine the timeline. Now, I've not seen a successful 1%, the top 1% of my operator, fellow operators, clients that I've worked with has happened over 6 months or 3 months, not with 1 unit or 2 unit. They've really focused on that 2 years plan, 3 years plan, and eventually seen that great success in their second year because they've really understood the business, they've understood the investment, and more importantly, they've understood how to make sure they're making profit in their short-term rental properties. Step number 3 to become a high-value short-term rental and Airbnb operators is you must focus on your high-performing habits. So guys, look, the reason why I'm capable, I'm able to do what I'm doing today, it has taken me 8 years of running, good businesses, bad businesses. You've seen me own a estate agent, sell my estate agent, right? I've shared that story before. And the reality is, looking back into some of the habits that I've created, you must be thinking right now that, there's somebody else out there who's got 1% better habits that they're consistently doing every single day, which is obviously better than what you are. So if you focus on, one of the things I'm absolutely thankful about right now is my coach Joe, who is my PT, who does 4 PTs with me at the moment. And eventually we looked at a goal. Now the goal was, yes, we are working out, and for me, working out has never been, yes, I need to look like this. It was more, yes, I need to get out of my desk. I work a lot. I enjoy working, but I need that time away from my desk or my offices, my team, my client calls. So going back to an hour PT session, that's an hour a day for 4 days a week. Eventually, now we've got into a position where, yes, we are getting 2-hour session where he wants me to come in an hour before just to do a cut down session on cardio and then go into training, or vice versa, do a training and do up to an hour session on cardio. Now, what that's happened to me is, yes, it was quite hard, not gonna lie. The first few days completely destroyed me. Didn't want to turn up, didn't want to do that hour session before or after a session of workout. I'd say, oh my God, I've got loads of work to get back to my desk to. But eventually, do you know what? It turned out to become a habit. This is my 3rd week right now, which has been consistent, that I am now turning up an hour early, turning up and actually doing some bit of cardio. And, I can put you some screenshots right now where eventually I'm burning over 1200, 1300, 1100 calories per session, which makes me feel better. But also I go back to that creating the habits or vision that, I want to achieve for my body and actually the end goal for this. So again, look, please make sure you focus daily on your habits. If you're looking to become a high value short-term rental and Airbnb operators, you've got to focus on your daily habits. If you are looking to become that high valued short-term rental and Airbnb operators, guys, listen, step number 4, you need to be your own value. Now, what I mean by that is, look, working with different operators over the last few years, either I've seen people having no system, I've seen people having or breaking their own system by not actually focusing on the business itself, and eventually you lose interest in the business. I've seen enough people going through that phase. I've spoken to a lot of operators on Facebook, I get messages daily at the moment, people reach out to me on Instagram, and the conversation I'm having is, look, why did you start this business? Yes, you have got 1 unit. Yes, you have spent X amount, £5,000 on that, getting that unit. But what made you start? Was it just the focus on you understanding about property investment, or was it you wanted to make profit? And eventually a lot of time people open up about their journey, and it's a great place to be. And one of the things I've always gone back and said, look, that top 1% of operators I've worked with, they are their own value, and they bring so much value to their business, to their life, that eventually they, I sit down with them and I get to understand what they're doing, why they're doing in the business. But importantly, I've recently started, learning about finances a lot and understanding, and hopefully in years to come, I'll be able to share that in my journey with you guys in this video or in my YouTube channel. And one of the things I've learned is property is a finance business. If you go on a larger scale, forget about short-term rental, forget about Airbnb and service accommodation business, the real estate market, the equity real estate, the ones that are played in very big numbers, I've quickly realized that just finance involved on it, there's nothing else. And property is only an SPV, and it's amazing what you can do with your knowledge and value add into your own business. So guys, look, think about this way: if you're looking to start and you want to be in that top 1%, you've got to make sure you become your own value. Now, the last thing you need to become a high performing short-term rental and Airbnb operator is strong network. So look, I've listed this as the last piece of the puzzle, and more importantly for you to understand that there's a lot of people when they start, especially in the property space, they go out there, they network, and they try and do their best to raise finance, build relationship with landlords, or they go to network meetings. And eventually what I found was, yes, your network is your net worth, and it will take you places where I wanted to know someone in that office and I don't know, but if I know, I picked up phone calls before, I've gone, hey, do you know this person in there? And they've guided me in the right positioning, and it's amazing to see what your network can do. And the people that's in your phone, the contacts they know, that is where it starts building for you. Like a story that I've shared before as well, it's quite, this makes me very smile when a client recently went out into a network meeting, and eventually there were, obviously there was hundreds of people in the network meeting, and they had that conversation around, look, we run a short-term rental operator, her and our partner, they're looking to raise finance to their next project and stuff like that. And in between, they shortly mentioned that, yes, they've worked with me from GrowYourBnb and, name dropped me and said, this is how we build our brand and this is what we're trying to do with our business to move forward. And eventually the investor went, oh my God, I know Piers. And because I've been in the industry long enough now, there's more and more people and investors know me of the short-term rental and Airbnb business, and eventually at the moment they're in talks to do business together. I find that, I've done that before for my management clients when, management clients gone, hey, I've seen you posted results about this person, are they actually real? Are they, what did you do for them? And, that's not my job. Reality is, look, they're trying to work with one of my management clients. I could sit out from it, but just building that network that my client invested with me, I could turn around and say to that, the person who reached out to me in Messenger, and I said, yeah, more than happy for you to chat with them. Obviously, it's not a financial advice because I don't know how they're running their business. I don't know where they are with the business right now. But if they're raising finance and they solely want to talk about, have they invested in their branding? Are they making the bookings that we've shown in their account? Yes, they have, because we can show in that specific property they did. And that is the power of networking. And I hope that gives you kind of an insight of why networking is so important in your short-term rental and Airbnb business. Now, by the way, this way you are going to become the short-term rental value add industry expert, and as well as, something that you've got to be proud about. Like, I just feel like sometimes, how the social media or YouTube or a lot of, other gurus or mentors you might follow, buying cars, I've seen people doing this, going on holidays, the laptop lifestyle on an Airbnb account. Look, I've worked with clients with £1 million revenues, and you will not see me post that on a holiday just to make sure that I look cool. I can do that, and I'm guessing I'll post that on social. I'll probably get a lot of people going, oh my God, this and that, but we don't do that. This is where you've got to think. It's It's okay, by the way, you know, buy a nice car, going on holiday, they're all good things, and that's what you want to aim for because you're running a business. But at the same time, do not think from time frame that I've talked about today, do not think it's going to happen in that first or second year, or even you've had that success. Do not take advantage of your business to do that. Look, take it to 5 years, know that you've done exactly what you've achieved, and then start enjoying it. We're talking about that 1% of high value short-term rental and you know, Airbnb business owners. We're not talking about those business owners or Airbnb operators I see on Facebook who's posted this and that and not really added value to the industry long term. So look, these are the 5 things obviously I've discussed today, but for you to even take it further, I'm going to put a video here where I talk about 10 things, especially actually my clients are in those Zoom calls, they actually share their thoughts on how and why they find this kind of system a lot better. 10 things that I talk to my clients on a daily basis that we've shared it in this video, so go and check that out. But for now guys, thank you so much for watching another Grow Your BNB video. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe and share, and we'll be back with another video soon.